Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 9, 7 Bells. The world is ending, everything is stressful, I'm excited. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go.
It is 7:35.
Bless Moon Luther. Love Luther.
Denied. Stupid Moon.
So what did his dad have that was there he couldn't see? Abigail Hargreaves. Even with the surname, I am so confused but so intrigued. We know he was a spaceman thing.
You're a good person, Ben, but you're trying really, really hard to be a bad one.
I hate you. No, you don't. I do. I do.
Ben.
I really do.
Just like Dad.
Ooh, fuck.
You'd be surprised how much love he has to give. And
Klaus,
also, he's got this
stop being so
great
fooled by
save the universe.
Reginald.
Done. One and done.
How did he get here and who did he see Reginald with? I realised afterwards that I don't think he had all the symptoms of being too close to his other self. Yes. Who?
What was the old man up to?
Thank you. Thank God he remembered. I was half convinced he wasn't going to.
Bad dreams?
You being in my room when I wake up, first thing I see, yes, bad life.
To feed you, child, eh?
There's always an ulterior motive.
I am not the Hargreaves you grew up with.
Yeah, but you raise the other kids just as toxically.
DNA in family are the only people who know us whilst we endure our most epic trials.
You gave these kids, who are now young adults, their big epic trials.
Why don't you tell? I think you're being too hard on Dad.
No. He's an abuser. However you react to that is valid.
This is a different Hargreaves. You need to give him a chance.
Yes, but this is one that you all hated so much you drugged him for years.
Door was open. And say I'm sorry.
This is a shock.
I've been a really shitty sister lately.
Victor should be top of the
Uh-huh.
No, I know.
Okay.
First of all, you should apologise to Luther privately for the attempted sexual assault. And, yeah, why has Alison suddenly changed her mind? I'm so, like, from last night. Luther's so good.
Okay.
Does she have some kind of ulterior motive?
Dad called a meeting at noon today. Are you both gonna come?
Oh,
Why has Alison changed her tune so
I
suddenly?
see what. No.
Luther. We hate him, okay? Reginald is a piece of shit who doesn't deserve our presence in his life. But we should at least hear his story. And if he has a valid plan, we can do it and then dump him.
That is not the same man.
You all were so afraid of him and so hated him so much. You drugged him for years. He is the same man. Or at least a close enough version. But that is true. Luther has grown.
And whatever you decide on.
Reginald? I take it you know why I'm here.
Hey, Five! If you just stand up, walk behind him, and give him a big push. Just a little shove.
You know they all run together after a while. But you never forget your first.
So basically, Reginald is the reason all these worlds are ending.
Sin. You ruined your life once before by not listening to me. Are you prepared to do that again?
Oof. That is a blow where it hurts.
I'll attend your stupid meeting.
Reginald knows far more than he's letting on. Like, he orchestrated this or something. I trust nothing with this man.
That speech last night.
Brought me to tears as a family bound by destiny and love.
Okay. Was the booze talking? The light of day are all still deplorable.
Yes, but the booze brings out your truth.
Get worse. Things back together if the universe ever faced total annihilation.
Yes, but you've been preparing for this. Why and how?
There is
That's what I want to know.
in the universe.
Some of us should stay back. Like Lila.
Because she's... I get that she's pregnant and you want to protect her and the baby. In normal circumstances, I 1000% agree. But the universe is kind of ending right now, so she's not really safe here.
This isn't a democracy. Dad's calling the shots. I'm with Victor. We vote.
The world is ending.
Privately.
Yes, fuck off, in other words. Oh, who was he meeting? Someone we've not met before.
Why don't we?
Will you just stop and listen?
Where is this coming from? Because Alison was sitting at the meeting, scowling, like she didn't like them all. Is this just because she thinks if she apologises, Victor will come, and if she doesn't apologise, Victor won't? Like, I genuinely do not trust a word out of Alison's mouth right now. What have they done to her?
Doesn't give me permission to hurt you.
It doesn't, you're right. And it's not Victor's fault, because Victor didn't do anything that led to that.
But it's real.
We know.
If I don't act now...
See, is this just a lie to get Victor to come because Victor's powerful and we need him? Or is this genuine? I do not trust Alison anymore. I hate it.
I love you.
I hope this is genuine,
I love you too.
but I can't say I trust it. I want to see her face right now. Yeah. She's just saying what she thinks she needs to get them to do it, right? Is Alison the villain in season 4?
I'm old enough to trust my instinct, and it's telling me this is a trap.
Death. There is something more to it. You can never trust Reginald. I also feel like we should go into it being fully aware it's a trap. I think given the stakes, we probably should do it, although the argument of letting everything end is also valid. I don't know. It's a mess.
I think you can all guess which way I'll be voting.
No one cares. Like, she seems like her old self in these moments, and then when no one's looking at her, she doesn't.
Man again. His vote, Lila.
Alison is so fake right now.
I am with
Just can't shake the feeling that we don't know what we're getting ourselves into.
Agreed. Reginald has not told us everything.
But we know what we've got if we don't.
But I fake apologise to you.
We have to go into this together.
Or does she think? Does she think from hearing the story? Did she make a deal with Reginald that when they reset the universe, she'll be able to have Claire and Ray or something? And that's why she's suddenly like, I've got to apologise to everyone, and she's faking it.
Family around. It isn't enough.
Mm-hmm. You have to act it too.
We want to spend whatever time we have left together and not fighting some guy with a sword and...
I can see both parts, but I think I would be on the side of going with Reginald as much as, like, the characters I like the most are all staying, and I do agree with them for why. I feel like I would be like, I'm not trusting Reginald, he is lying to us and keeping something back, but I also think if there is a chance we should take it. But then the idea that they just keep making things worse every time they try and save the world and maybe we should just let it end also makes so much sense. Like, I genuinely am torn. Also, I feel like I would be on Team Stay because I have 0 skills that would be useful, so I wouldn't even be part of the conversation.
I vote stay. This time we accept our fate.
Yeah, every word Alison has said that was nice today was a lie.
But I see now the blame falls on me.
Yep. You're a terrible, abusive father.
And I have failed to have doomed the entire universe.
Yes. Father of the year. Just go walk off the edge and maybe...
Anyone needs me.
You don't have the right to take this out on everyone around you. But did she think that setting things right would fix everything? I do feel bad for her with what she's lost, but with how she's acted this season, I just don't care anymore about her particularly compared to everyone else. That's not the courtyard.
Oh, heck.
Luther.
Are you okay?
This
Who
is
cares?
Lee's failure because a different me was unkind to his children.
This you was as well, because they drugged you. There's no universe in which he was a good father.
Simple.
You're a remarkable man, Luther.
I don't buy a nice word out of this man's mouth.
Put you through. I hope that you can forgive me.
Because this Reginald was drugged by his children, which suggests he's not good.
Will you forgive me, son?
No. You don't have to forgive him. It's up to you. If it genuinely helps you, do it. But forgiveness is waved around as this magic thing, and it's more for the hurter than the hurtee.
Thank you.
Luther. Oh, Holly's betting he's going to drug him.
I don't understand.
Yep. Fuck. I knew he was going to do something. I thought he might, like, inject him or something and, like, send him through to the other side. I have to believe that when we write... Oh, Luther.
I know.
I have to believe that when we fix however we fix this season, that we're going to fix it in such a way that he's fine. Because, yeah, this show's not going to... It's just not going to do it. And Reginald is just the fucking worst. I've not believed a single kind thing he said. If he truly was a better version in this timeline, his children would not have needed to drug him, and nor would most of them have turned out to be dicks.
Just as you...
Luther could have crushed you. And just for Luther, with everything, he truly finally thought he was having some kind of peace with his dad. It's all gonna be fine, Luther, okay? There's gonna be a second chance, don't worry. I refuse to believe anything else. Denial is my friend.
Allison apologized to me.
Okay, and that's suspicious how?
She didn't mean it.
She was ready to go 10 rounds. Something must have happened last night, but I don't know what.
Yep. As I suspected. But what is Allison? Why did he work with her?
It must have been it. The Guardian.
She's right.
Fucking hell.
What's going on?
Oh, this bitch! That's why he said he'd be in the courtyard.
If we attack first, he would still be alive.
Oh, someone kill Reginald, please. Is Allison willing to go through this? Other people's pain doesn't matter to her. Her own pain is all she can possibly see. Which I get when you're feeling pain, but this makes me more determined to stay than ever. Like, that seems like a relatively painless way to go, to be fair. I'm in utter denial about Luther.
You agreed to stay.
They killed Luther, alright? Come along, children, hurry.
We can't
Into the passage.
It's so clearly Reginald's manipulation.
Hurry.
Come on, what are you waiting
This
for?
isn't over.
Nope.
Get in the tunnel!
Wait, what are you doing? You've done a fine job bringing me back into the factory class.
This bitch! Fucking hell. Yep. This is why manipulative, abusive, narcissistic parents are better out of your life than in. They fuck you over. He got through to 2 of these kids, made them genuinely believe in him, and for nothing. Does he think that with his powers, if he dies before it happens, he can come back? And maybe find Luther? Is that the plan? That's my plan. Oh my god, that episode. So I knew I was right to stay hating Reginald. I did wonder whether maybe like this one was vaguely nicer, but his doddery old man act just never rang fully true, because he's always been a cold and heartless bastard, and if this Reginald was better than the other Reginald, then his children wouldn't have needed to drug him. That's not something you do with a better parent, or even just a vaguely annoying parent. You don't drug. And it breaks my heart that Klaus fell hook, line and sinker for this better dad, this new dad, this guy that actually might care about them and helped him see the best of him. Now, the minute his method of teaching Klaus was to get him continually to run over by traffic with no forewarning or anything, was the minute you could be like, well, he's definitely not an all the way good guy. But for him to do that to Klaus at the end, and to Luther, to orchestrate this moment of forgiveness before he stabbed him, because Luther wasn't expecting him to stab him. So he could have stabbed him at literally any moment of that conversation. It did not need to be in this moment of forgiveness and like Luther finally finding peace with his dad. Just absolutely despicable. I thought he was gonna like drug him and like send him to drag him. I suppose maybe he would be too weak to do that and be like, oh no, Luther's gone by himself, you better go after him. But I should have known he would murder him and frame it on the weird Guardian. Now maybe the Guardian just hates Reginald and the rest of us could make a peace with him. Maybe he just assumes it is Reginald that keeps sending people through and he doesn't trust Reginald. Reginald is the wrong person to get his hands on it. Because surely, if you have this myth of the idea of 7 bells or 7 whatever, and it's designed so that if the world's ending, if the universe is ending and we need a failsafe to stop that, you don't want it to be a failsafe that nobody can use because they can't get to it. So maybe if it wasn't constantly on Reginald high alert, it would trust them. I don't know. I thought the different stances everybody took on whether to stay or whether to go were really interesting. And like I kind of said in the middle of the reaction, I truly don't know where I'm at, because I think there's a bigger part of me, the part of me that always wants to hope that there is a way, would think, well, we'll go. But I would be like, I'd make sure, like, if I had the sort of information Five had, I'd be like, make sure everyone is aware there is something and we don't know here and try and be on guard for any traps. But it's certain death. The alternative is certain death. And, you know, maybe by the time, if I'd been through everything they've been through, maybe I would be like, you know what, fuck it, that's probably better than the uncertainty of maybe we'll be in an even worse world, who knows. But I think given that this was the total and complete annihilation of everything, then maybe going and attempting the plan, even if it was a terrible Reginald plan, would be the answer. But I really respect the ones that chose to stay. Slightly minus Diego, because I do feel like he largely did it as a F you to Lila, and less because he truly and completely believed in it. But yes, I have so much respect for Luther in this episode, both for sticking his ground against his father when that is something that he's been so scared to do and to face, to even thinking he could forgive him. Just the depths of compassion and goodness in that man's heart. Reginald does not fucking deserve a son like him. And I'm speaking about him in the present tense because I refuse to believe we're going to lose any of them. Even fucking Reginald. He'll still be around to ruin my life in next season. Alison's apologies seemed far too forced. Now, they did it very well because she, like, sometimes you can have actors who, when they're giving the like, I don't know, like the apology, you can tell from how they're acting in the apology that they're fake, but the person they're talking to can't. I liked the way they did it, where Alison seemed really genuine. She seemed like the Alison we've known and loved for 3 seasons. Well, 2 seasons. This season she's not really existed. But I was like, it was more the fact that we as the viewer hadn't seen the moment where she came to her senses. We hadn't seen the moment where she realised she was just making the situation worse for herself and everybody around her. She wasn't soothing her pain. She wasn't healing her pain. She wasn't actually blaming people that were directly responsible for her pain. She was just being a terrible person. Which made me doubt the sincerity of the apology. I maybe could have brought the one to Luther just because I feel like she's not particularly angry at him. But the minute she was being sincere with Victor, I was waiting for the moment they hugged and Victor could no longer see her face for it to be like, oh, fuck this bitch. And it kind of was. Now, I have no doubts that she is in horrendous pain. I can't even imagine the pain she is in, but it does not give you the excuse. And the fact that she's even able to say things like, my pain doesn't give me the excuse to take it out on you, and yet she's just doing it anyway. I'm so confused about what the writers intended with Alison in this season, because I genuinely don't care about her anymore. Like, she was sobbing her heart out, brilliantly acted, like a fantastic scene. If you cared about her, I could have teared up and been like, oh, I'm sorry, Alison, like I might have been at the beginning of the season. Now, I was like, well, you know, you might have people you could cry on their shoulder if you've been bit. Alison and Reginald could just fall off the side of the universe right now and I wouldn't care. I mean, okay, that is being a bit extreme. Alison has not quite reached Reginald levels, but yeah. They're the 2 characters. Like, Lila, she's pregnant, she can stick around. Lila is better. I'm kind of hoping in season 4, I'm assuming everyone's surviving because I live in denial, that we're going to see Lila develop a little bit. And that doesn't mean totally change character. Of course not. Lila is Lila, and that's never going to change. But I kind of hope in the next season we see her being a bit more normal. And by more normal, I don't mean not herself because she's never going to be normal. I mean just like accepting that toxic relationships aren't the best and maybe we could make their relationships slightly less toxic. So Alison, who gives a shit? And like, I'm very intrigued about the whole Reginald thing. Like, we saw that thing in, like, was it the season 1 finale? Where he did the pods and he was like fleeing. We saw that there was like Mrs. Hargreaves, I can't remember her name, on the moon. Last season, oh, of course he's an alien. Last season he took his skin off and was all like bleh. And he's obviously got something to do with the creation of these children, with their powers. And my current theory is he's one of the malevolent forces that the Guardian is there to stop getting access to the 7 bells, and it can sense his magicalness in the children, which is, I mean, I call them children. They are older than me. In the young adults or the adults, the people that are coming, he can sense that it's him, and so he's trying to stop them. I don't know. I really hope in the next episode we get some answers about him. I hope. And by we, I really mean his kids. I hope they find out the truth about him, and I hope that we turn against him. And we find a way to save the universe, and I'm assuming the reason Klaus didn't just stand there, like, you know, if that had been me, if I had been left alone, I was definitely going to die. I might have just sat next to Luther and held his hand and just been like, until I died. But Klaus throwing himself onto the horn of the buffalo or whatever, so he died before it happened. Was that so that he would go to the death plane and not to the non-existence plane? And then his power might bring him back. Maybe he could even find Luther's spirit and bring him back somehow. That's what I'm kind of counting on right now. So I'm very looking forward to the next episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.